Hi, my name's Jason. I am a design architect, and today we're going to be discussing two-point perspective in buildings. It's super important to understand what a two-point perspective is in comparison to a three-point perspective. And also there is something called a one-point perspective. But today we're focusing on two-point perspective, and it's going to be super informative because you'll get a better understanding of why we settle for 2 points in a perspective and not three. So let's take a look at it. So the first thing that we are going to do when analyzing this particular drawing, this drawing was created using artificial intelligence, and we're going to test the integrity of the perspective that's been set up here. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to start projecting lines to our vanishing points, which would be somewhere in this facility and somewhere in this facility, and there should be a horizon. So let's go for it. Let's take a look at the integrity of this drawing to see if it is a 2-point perspective. It does look like a 2-point perspective. And what we are going to do is we are going to project a whole bunch of lines that are parallel to one another in reality, and we are going to come up with our vanishing points. And let's just do that, and then we'll speak about it as soon as we cross over. So you can see this is the envelope of our perspective. So we have two vanishing points, one on the right-hand side over here and one on the left-hand side. And these are the points far away in the distance that these perspective lines will be traveling to. So let's just go and create the point of origin. This is the origin, or the most dominant part of our site, which should be in the foreground. And it is a vertical line. Now, when something is vertical, that's a sign of a 2-point perspective. And because what happens normally in cameras is that they distort the perspective so that these lines cave in and create an error of parallax. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to just create some integrity here by checking that line to see if it's also vertical. When we create a building, we need to make sure that the lines are perpendicular with the top of the page. And this is a perpendicular sign. So the top of the page would be in this vicinity here, and this is 90 degrees. So we are going to be suggesting that the vertical lines for a 2-point perspective are all perpendicular. Let's just jump into SketchUp just to take a look at what the alternatives are where we create 3-point perspective, just to compare to 2-point perspective, to understand 2-point perspective. So what I've done is I've actually traced the image by using Match Photo. Match Photo is a really cool plugin with SketchUp, and you can see over here, you can bring a photo in the background, and then there on top of it, you can rationalize it by drawing your perspective lines and tracing over it in perspective. Now, what I found in the process is that the artificial intelligence that created this image created the perspectives slightly off. So the integrity of the perspective isn't so good from the artificial intelligence, and it seems like there are lines that are out of place. You can see the building here slants and so on and so forth, and doesn't match the perspective. So artificial intelligence has still got a long way to go with structural integrity or perspective integrity, because this was done obviously in a program like Midjourney, but we can absolutely find the perspective lines for this particular building. Now, when you take a look at adjusting the camera in perspective, and you go into field of view, so obviously you can adjust the camera's angle. So this is 77 degrees. Normally a camera would be between 34 and 54 degrees. But anyway, when you take a look at it, what normally happens when you tilt the perspective, then these lines on the left-hand side over here, if I could point to them with something, let's see, these lines over here, I'm pointing with the paint bucket tool on the left-hand side, they start to incline. So if we continue these vertical lines up, you can see that they are creating a triangle, and these triangles will eventually terminate in a vanishing point somewhere very far above this building, but yet when you are actually creating 2-point perspective, then these vertical lines will always be perpendicular. So that's the difference. There's a slight angle in these particular lines that are vertical, but when you get back into the traditional 2-point perspective for buildings, then you'll find that these vertical lines are perpendicular to the top of the page, and the only vanishing points that exist are really the horizon line over here. Hi, it's been super exciting to share this mini lesson with you on 2-point perspective for buildings, and really looking forward to sharing more with you in the future. Please subscribe and smash that like button if you found value in this process, and look forward to seeing you again